Hello viewers, welcome to Ultimate Gaming Guide. I'm Tanver. How are you all doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. So in this video, I'll be talking about what you should do after you got yourself a new SSD. No matter if you got yourself an Nvme Ssd or a 2.5 SSD, you should always run a performance check on it, because not all SSDs are made the same. Okay, but before you run that performance check, you need to make sure that you have taken all the steps to run that SSD at its absolute best. So let's get to the steps. Okay, so SSD devices tends to perform better at Ahci mode. So you need to go into the BIOS and set your SATA configuration to Ahci, that is Advanced Host Controller Interface. I will demonstrate in the later part of this video. And when you're choosing a 2.5-inch SSD, you need to be really careful, because back in the day when we are transitioning from like hard drive to SSD drive, those SSDs were like faster than hard drive, but they are a lot slower compared to the SSDs we are getting now. And so manufacturers may be selling those older SSD at a heavily discounted price. And so don't be tempted to get those, and don't be tempted to get used SSDs from eBay. I mean, those are a lot slower. In some of the motherboards, you would have like two NVMe slots. One would be like a faster and one would be like slower. So make sure you plug in your NVMe SSD into the faster slot so you can get the best performance out of your NVMe SSD. And finally, download and install Ahci Ssd. This is a free software that will give you an average score for your SSD, and that's how you can determine how good your SSD is. And finally, the expectation. So if you got yourself a 2.5 SSD, you should be looking at a performance score of 500 to 900, and if you got an NVMe Gen 3, you should be looking at a performance score of 2500 to 3500. And if you got like a Gen 4, then you should be looking at 6500 to 7000. Okay, so I don't have any Gen 4 right now, but I will be testing the Gen 3 NVMe and a traditional 2.5 SSD. So let's get to it. Okay, to download Ahci Ssd, just go to Google and type Ahci Ssd download, and click the second link. And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the download link. So click download and save. This is a zip file. It's a very small file, so just go to the folder and you need to extract that. Okay, once you extract it, just double click on the Ahci Ssd benchmark. Click yes, and this should launch the program. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna test an Nvme SSD. This is a spec SPCC M.2 PCIe Gen 3. It's made by Silicon Power. So I'm gonna test it now, and I'm looking at a performance score of 2500 to 3500 for Gen 3. Let's see how much do I get. So I got a score of 3600 for my Gen 3 NVMe. So it is safe to say this is a really good Gen 3 NVMe SSD. Okay, right now I'm gonna test a 2.5 SSD made by Crucial. Let's see how much do I get here. So I got a score of 670 for my 2.5-inch SSD. That's not bad. Considering I'm like testing this 2.5 SSD through an USB 3.0 hard drive enclosure, it would have been scored better if it was directly plugged into the SATA port. Okay, so it is safe to say that this is a decent 2.5 SSD drive. And finally, I'm going to show you how can you set your SATA configuration to Ahci so you can get the best performance out of your SSDs. For this, just restart your computer and keep pressing the delete key when you're restarting so you can get to the BIOS. Okay, once you are in BIOS, go to the Advanced tab, go to Storage Configuration, and then go to SATA mode and make sure you set that to Ahci, not RAID, not IDE. Set it to Ahci, and then save and exit, and you should be good to go. So next time you got yourself a new SSD, don't just assume it's like super fast. Run a performance check on it, and if you don't get a decent SSD score, return it, get a different one. So I hope this little tutorial was helpful to you. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. You have a good one.